This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real. Yeah.
Welcome to DBL. We made it. We made it to Friday.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
We made it through the week.
We made it through the week, and I also want to ask, Easter is coming up, which is a very exciting thing. Happy Easter, of course, and today is special, of course, because it's Good Friday ahead of our Easter weekend. So to all of our friends who are celebrating Easter, we hope you have a lovely, wonderful weekend. I'd like to actually ask the host, anyone have Easter plans?
Well, me and the kids are going to hunt for Al's jacket over the weekend.
Well, you're not going to find it. I'll be handing out brochures at the church. That's yes.
Are you really?
No, Jeff.
Oh, I was like, man, you made me feel terrible. You made me feel terrible. You got me.
That's so
Yeah. We're just doing some Easter stuff. We go to a nice restaurant, go to church, and do our little.
Do you
family
hide
thing.
eggs?
I do, and I make little
As a Jew,
notes.
I'm so jealous.
My
of this
father or my parents used to write out little notes. I mean, the Easter Bunny used to write out little notes, and
That's right.
And then he comes to our house and does the same thing. What a good Easter Bunny.
Quick question: is the Easter Bunny putting stickers on each egg? Have you talked to the Easter Bunny about that?
No.
Because I've heard
The Easter Bunny likes to drink on Saturday.
because some kids grab more of the eggs and it causes a little bit of a beef. So I've heard that some Easter bunnies put stickers on to prevent that.
This is what you can do. So in our household, because my kids need to have everything equal. God forbid somebody has a little bit more banana. It's like a World War III. So what we do is first, of course, we dye our eggs. We do white wooden eggs because I'm vegan. And we dye our eggs, and then the Easter Bunny steals our eggs, and then hides them amongst the home and the backyard, and then the kids find them, and then we put them in a pile.
Oh, nice.
So you don't need to do sticker. You put them in a pile, and then you evenly separate them.
Nice.
Okay.
This was.
Mom, remember when we were young, we'd pile up our eggs?
Yes. And then do a long division to figure out how it's equal.
I like that. That's beautiful. I think that's great.
Good old Easter pile.
I think that's great. Good old Easter pile. I am very jealous. Well, we thought we'd also start today with a look at some dueling campaign stops yesterday. I don't know if you saw the difference here, because first, 3 presidents were all together at Radio City Music Hall. We got President Biden, we got President Clinton, and Obama joined forces all together for a fundraising event that brought in more than $25 million. If I'm right, it's the most successful fundraiser in U.S. history. Meantime, former President Donald Trump was also in New York, but he was attending a wake for a New York police officer who was shot and killed during a traffic stop earlier this year. Here's some of what he said.
We have to get back to law and order. We have to do a lot of things differently because this is not working. This is happening too often.
So what do you think of these 2 dueling campaign events and what it says about these candidates? Sorry, I also meant he was killed earlier this week, not earlier this year. Please, Sam.
And to that point, this is what Trump said in regard to this fundraiser. And you're right, $25 million, the most lucrative fundraiser for both Dems and Republicans. However, Trump and the Republicans are saying that their fundraiser coming up, they estimate $33 million, which would be then the highest fundraiser ever. But we'll see. We have to wait and see. But Trump did say that, or his campaign spokesman, while Trump was honoring Officer Diller, Biden was at a glitzy fundraiser in the city with their elitist, out-of-touch celebrity benefactors.
What do you think, Al, about the idea of contrasting these two? Is Biden not seen as a man of the people and Trump is?
It's interesting because, it's considered Hollywood and glitzy, but I know Trump from The Apprentice and Home Alone and being associated with literal Hollywood. And, as for the law and order, he's got 91 indictments that he's dealing with. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because it's optics. And that's what people will remember. They'll see Biden, Radio City Music Hall with presidents that they may have also voted against. And they'll see Trump at the side of a fallen police officer. It's a great optics for him and his base.
Yeah. I don't know about if breaking records because of donations is what I want to hear on either side, because I think money should be taken out of politics.
Same.
The more money that you put into it, the more backs you have to scratch. So I don't necessarily think that's a great thing on either side. Even if the Republicans break it next week, I think that's more backs you have to scratch.
That's a great point.
So I don't like that aspect of it all. I do not like, again, politicians getting into the whole Hollywood side of things, because that's all Hollywood is. If there was two sides in Hollywood, that'd be fine. Try to rally your base. But there's not. And Hollywood's very much blindsided by that. I do like Trump, and I'll say it. Trumper, write it in. I do like that we're talking about this police officer, because had he not gone there, we would not talk about this. And the person who shot him had 21 arrests. And he was so not worried about the law that it was a routine traffic stop, and he just shot the guy when he was coming to the car. And that man has a 1-year-old child now that will be fatherless, and his life ruined, or that child's life ruined and that whole family shattered forever. And we would not have done this story if Trump was not there. So I'm glad Trump pointed that out and said they need to do something about what's going on.
I do want to add, first of all, yes, may Jonathan Diller rest in peace. And I am glad that his name and legacy is amplified, and his sacrifice. I will say, though, that Trump and his campaign and PR team has said over and over and over again that violent crime has gone up. According to the FBI stats, overall violent crime in the U.S. has dropped last year by 6%. So I do want us to have duality of thought and say, okay, I'm glad that he's amplifying this officer, but also when he keeps saying that we need to restore law and order and that violent crime has gone up, that is wrong. Violent crime has gone down.
That's good.
It's important we know that.
I don't know about that stat. I don't know about a lot of stats. Violent crime might be right. Yeah, violent crime might be right. How about crime in general? Does it? I don't know where the line is drawn. To say that the economy is the best it's ever been, and to say that violent or crimes have gone down, that's just a lie. We all live in this world. We know what the grocery store prices are.
Are you questioning like the FBI?
I am questioning about what crime is. When you say violent crime or crime in general, are those two different things? Is the stat different if I just say crimes in general?
But I think that's such a wide thing, because now you're talking about like,
because
are we talking about like white collar crime too?
Yeah, all of it. Crime.
Well, then I think that's such a hard thing, because, you know, SBF just got 25 years yesterday, the crypto guy.
Samuel Bankman-Fried.
Yes. And so, like, you know, are we looping that in? Is he in the same bin as, like, petty theft, car theft, credit card fraud? There's so many different kinds of crime, sadly, that we have to kind of try and couch it in some way to get a hold on it. But I think they're saying overall crime in general is down. New York City in the 70s and 80s, you've seen movies, was a mess.
So
and it's not like
crime's down
anymore,
6%.
But crime has changed.
Crime's down 6%. So you guys all think the way the country's being run with crime and less police officers and the hatred towards police officers, that's great right now because it's down 6%?
No, I don't think that we need to blanket it. I don't think that we need to cherry pick either. I think what's important to note is that when we have Biden or Trump or anybody with a platform, especially when they're running to be the president of the United States, saying statistics and it's wrong according to the FBI, that matters to me. I want you to run on facts. I don't want you to run on disinformation, because that is dangerous. So that's all I want, and I'm going to apply that to both candidates. That's really important to me. I'm sick of the disinformation.
Yeah, and I'm sick of the skewing to make your point.
I don't know if the FBI skewed
No, I'm saying violent crimes is different than crimes in general.
Right, but
so
I'm
that's
more
a different number.
for violent crime than I am for petty theft.
So smash and grabs are cool?
No, I don't think. Don't put words in my mouth.
No, I'm not saying that. But in my own neighborhood where I grew up, my friends are showing me videos of that small little town I grew up in. Smash and grabs, people going to jail, and nobody's getting arrested. And not at all.
I totally agree with you there, and I want to make this very clear. As a small business owner, that too is just as violent, even though it doesn't fall under violent crime, because of the fact that it does take away someone's blood, sweat, and tears and years, and then they're all of a sudden out of their product, and then they have to rebuild, even if they're able to afford to rebuild. So I agree with you there, but I do. Again, my whole point is I want their facts to be facts. Facts are gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Truth,
there has to be a truth, and there has to be one we all agree with, and that's one of them. All right.
I don't know if we'll ever have that.
Well, we should, because truth can come back.
Al.
Exactly. And for anyone to think that Trump is a man of the people is laughable, in my opinion. We'll be right back.
crimes overall, what the percentage of that is?
Face discrimination.
Find out. I know that, Linda.
Yeah, we're looking up.
Yep, bodyguard.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yes, our
Okay.
wonderful statistician Jennifer is looking up the crime stats, but I think crime is such an it's like saying, do people like sports more than they used to? Like, are you talking about lacrosse or are you talking about?
But don't you think those smash and grabs are out of control?
But that doesn't mean that crime isn't still down.
That's what I'm saying. That statistic is not involved in that statistic because it's not a violent crime. They're letting people go.
Right, but we
for those.
categorize things like that so we can measure. And if they're saying violent crimes is down 6%, that's a boost in what was otherwise a big
Is that considered
uptick.
a violent crime, or are violent crimes only against other people?
I really don't know. I don't want to give wrong information.
And that's just in the last year, or is that all time?
Right.
No,
And
what do you mean right? What
no,
is it?
I don't know the answer to that for that stat. I do know that gas is at a very low. I do know that unemployment is in a 3.7.
But gas very low here.
Right.
And I agree with everything you're saying. However, my parents in California and my friends in California are still paying $5 a gallon while we're paying $2.89.
But also, if you look on social media, people are really finding it hard to find jobs. So even though unemployment is down, the economy is not right. I work here and I have 5 other jobs.
Yeah, why does everybody have multiple jobs?
That's what I'm saying. I don't
but it's
understand.
wage.
Right.
Going on.
Economy-wise, it's
But then unemployment. The jobs are there, but the wages are not okay. I agree with you completely.
Well, this is also like a bigger conversation that we
corporate
voted.
gouging, too.
No, with that, and we voted against raising the minimum wage for 30 years,
Why?
and it because people
Who is
thought
voting
that poor
against
people
the
were gonna
minimum wage?
Wow, I've never even heard that.
Wait till you hear the words of American Requiem, by the way.
My
That was the song that
gosh.
just played.
I already feel inspired. Welcome back to DBL. That was American Requiem, the opening track from Beyoncé's new Cowboy Carter album. The song challenges the notion of what is considered country music and her place in the genre. We talked about this yesterday. In a press release, Beyoncé says the album, quote, dismantles false norms about Americana culture and pays tribute to musical pioneers in country, rock, classical, and opera. She also collaborates with Miley Cyrus and Post Malone. He's always making that face, huh? That guy.
He's happy.
He's a happy guy. As we mentioned, Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton appear on the album, which is actually structured like an old radio show, which is so cool. And we get a first listen to Beyoncé's rendition of Dolly's hit Jolene, but she changed the lyrics and, more importantly, the tone of the song. Have a listen.
I can easily understand why you're attracted to my man, but you don't want the smoke, so shoot your shot with someone else. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm warning you, woman, find you your own man.
Ooh, sounds very good. We also are getting tributes to Linda Martell, of course, the first black female artist to play at the Grand Ole Opry. She faced a lot of discrimination. People online were also convinced that Taylor Swift sings background vocals on the song Bodyguard. So do we have that Bodyguard? Let's go ahead and hear it. Let's hear what you guys think.
Sometimes I hold you closer just to know you're real.
Is that credited? A removed credit.
That was pretty cool. It's like like when you hand in, what is it, your application? What's it called?
A resume?
Like a resume?
Yeah, it looked like a resume, didn't it? Who made that? That was clever.
It's unverified. It was taken down, so
Look
interesting.
at that. It's like a resume.
Yeah.
Let me speak to this album,
Please.
though, because, listen, it came out at midnight. I've only been able to listen to it once, and then I hit some of my favorite songs on the way here. We have about 20 minutes to burn, Jeff and I, because we both live that way.
That way.
Mine's 40.
Jeff lives
That's why
farther that
he's
way.
angry.
I love coming in early to do this show with Jolene.
So the storytelling is impeccable. Absolutely impeccable. Grab your tissue, because songs like Protector, where she were with Rumi Carter, and then also Daughter, which I don't know if it is autobiographical about her relationship with her father, but those two songs made me cry. American Requiem, you brought up that you want to see a connection with Beyoncé and country. You're sick of the divisiveness, and you're sick of people almost fixing a narrative to create that divisiveness.
Absolutely.
Now, that's not taking away the historical context. However, to Jeff's point, Beyoncé in American Requiem, she addresses the fact that she maybe did not feel welcome in the country genre, but she says over and over again, stand with me. There's enough peace and love, y'all. Stand with me. So I do think she's trying to be the example. And also, as Michelle Obama's favorite line is, when they go low, you go high. She goes high here. And she's trying to unite people. And I think that's beautiful. And I hope that people can really listen to the lyrics and see
if there's anything that can do it, it's music. You know, we're sitting here and we're going to dissect it along socioeconomic and racial and gender lines, as we are supposed to do on a talk show. But there's going to be a 12-year-old that just gets this album and likes it. Or a 12-year-old that likes one song.
There's going to be a lot of them
but
now,
really is inspired by the guitar playing. They're not going to have this conversation. They're going to listen to that song 200,000 times in their room, and we'll be talking about them in 20 years and saying, where did they get this start? What a weird sound they have. It's from stuff like this.
Ride 'em, cowboy.
Oh, no.
that lyric was not in there.
Someone said, oi.
Yeah, they just made a noise.
Love coming in early for this show.
A visceral noise. Hey, coming up on DBL, our interview with the host of What Would You Do, John Quinones. He's telling us all about one of the most impactful moments on the show. Welcome back. Have you ever heard a story and then asked yourself, what would you do in this situation? Well, the show What Would You Do does that very thing. And earlier, we spoke with the show's host, journalist John Quinones. Take a look.
What if you were there when a gym workout gets crashed by a creep?
Are you a model? I have a studio down the street.
He was like taking a bunch of pictures of you while you were stretching.
Okay, here we go. Ariane, this touches you.
Please welcome award-winning journalist John Quinones.
Hey, how you doing? Great to be with you guys.
Your show. It's such a good show.
It is a good show. I always think, if he's there, I got to show up. I'm always worried you're going to be there. All right. You've been witnessing human behavior on What Would You Do for so long. And I am curious, what is a story that has impacted you the most?
Oh my God, there's so many of them. They all touch me so deeply. And by the way, so great to be on your show. We're big fans here in Texas. My wife never misses a show. So I'm glad to be with you guys.
That's crazy.
You know, I think we did one where a homeless a person collapses on the street. Who's going to stop and help a homeless person? You don't know anything about medicine, right? You're in a hurry. You got to get to work. And if it's a well-dressed business person, everyone stopped to help. But when it was a homeless guy on the street, no one stopped. That man, he was an actor. He was an actor. But no, 88 people walked by. No one would stop. Yes, they were stepping over him. And one lady made the sign of the cross and kept going. But the only one who stopped was another homeless person, Linda Hamilton. And that just touched me.
Right. So who's more apt to get involved, a man or a woman?
Overwhelmingly women. Women. I don't know. Maternal instinct, maybe, or the fact that you guys are braver than we are, because guys are talking about it becoming physical, but women jump right in, maybe because they've been there, right? The homeless person stepped in because she's been there. A bashing victim, someone watching that will step in if they happen to be gay because they've been there. They know what it's like. Women are incredible. You guys, every time, you're the ones that jump in. There'll be many times when we're in a restaurant and the man is with the wife and she's saying, I want to get involved. I need to do something. And he'll say, no, he's holding her back. Mind your own business. Guys, we're just worried too.
They're the worst.
But that was my thought, that women have a presumption of safety.
Right.
Because we don't think about it in terms of what happens if it escalates.
How many times have you heard the Good Samaritan winds up getting hurt? But we all have cell phones now. We can all, from a safe distance, call, 911. Or talk to the management at the restaurant, or complain to someone quietly. You don't have to become physically involved.
That's true.
Do you see any differences with the generations, like young versus old?
Yes, young people are more apt to get involved often, and we can't put them on the air unless they're over 18, so we have to ask their parents. But teenagers are amazing. The biggest fans of What Would You Do are kids. When I'm going through an airport, or they're the ones who come up and want to take selfies. I love that. It probably because of social media. We went crazy on TikTok and on Instagram when 5 years ago, my kids were saying, "Dad, you're blowing up on TikTok."
Were you like, what's TikTok?
Kids want to remind us of the right thing to do. The old people are set in their ways.
It's so true. We have about a minute left, so I have to ask you, with more than 1,000 episodes air, do you ever hear from people who've said that they changed their behavior because of what they saw on the show?
All the time. In fact, even on the show, when we're filming, someone steps in and I'll go and ask them why, and they'll say, because I watch your show. And I promised my kids that if I ever confronted something like this, I would be the one to step in. When we help someone out of kindness or generosity, it leads them to return the favor down the line, and that creates a cycle of positive energy. And I think that show is so good because it reminds us of all the goodness out there, and it restores our faith in humanity.
I love that. John, quickly, what's your wife's name?
Deanna White.
Deanna! Thank you.
John, does she have a favorite, real quick?
Yeah, which host?
Oh, what do you mean? Which host?
What would you do, John? The question's on you.
Are you crazy? Of course, I can pick all of you. Maybe we should run a little experiment there in the studio one of these days.
Smart man.
John, thank you to you. Thank you to your wife, Deanna. And congratulations on the success of your show. DBL Nation, you can find What Would You Do Sunday nights on ABC and the next day on Hulu. Thank you again, John. We'll be right back.
Thank you. Great job.
Great job.
Welcome to DBL. That was American Requiem. That was an American Requiem.
Oh, but you know, can we listen to it?
Yeah, let's take a listen to, if we can, American Requiem. Wait, wow. American Requiem one more time.
And I just want to say really quickly, we are so proud of our girl Tori.
CNN?
You were mentioned in CNN.
Yes, I was.
Yes, talk
Art
about
history.
your art history degree.
Expert. Very exciting. Everyone go to CNN Entertainment and look me up. Bye, guys.